All right. So the recording has started on my end, just so you know, in case you have to accept that. No worries. And friends, thank you so much for being here. First of all, sending love to anybody who couldn't make it tonight, especially those in the area that may be affected by the crazy weather going on. Trishti, we're grateful that you are able to be here, and hopefully internet access stays going for you along with energy and power. So, but friends, I am thrilled. I reached out to Tia a little while ago. Tia and I connected a bit ago, and that was because of Trish was Wilkinson. Was that because of you, or no? We
No,
somehow.
I connected you too.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
it.
Tia
Thank you.
connected us.
Thank you. But Tia and I cross paths, and her energy, and honestly, with her experience with being a radio personality, the fact that she was on a TED Talk, the fact that she puts herself out there and does some entrepreneurial stuff like being the tips guru as well. Tia, you got your hands in a lot of different things. You're super creative, but also you're a beautiful networker that is always meeting new people and paying it forward. And you've introduced me to quite a few wonderful humans, including Trish Wilkinson. That's how the triangle was formed. That's right. So, and it's kind of hard to remember all the connections you've made for me. I kind of take it for granted, right? But here we are making positive ripples. But Tia, thank you so much for being here, and we're grateful to just hear from you, pour into us. And as Tia, you know, and we want to remind everybody that we want to keep this casual. So if you have questions, comments, you want to dive deeper into something, Tia is 100% game. We're here to learn and grow together. So Tia, I'm going to pass it over to you, but thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I mean, this is awesome. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I know it's still daytime for some of you, but yeah, it's nighttime for me. I'm on the East Coast, and um, you know, prayers out to anyone dealing with the hurricane stuff too. I understand we got a light crowd tonight because of that, and I just appreciate your time and making time for me. I, like Phil said, I have been a radio personality most of my life, and I have Tips from Tia, which is a website where we do lifestyle tips on health, beauty, home, sexual health, mental health, and it's all about making the uncomfortable comfortable. I was tired of people Googling things and getting the wrong answers, and I really wanted to make a trusted resource where people could do that. And I guess when the pandemic hit, I kind of had to pivot. The station that I was with had sold, and I wasn't willing to move across the country. I wanted to be near my family at that time. So I started writing again, and I ended up getting a TEDx, which got picked up by TED and went viral. And I love giving tips to people. So tips on anything, and my TED talk is on stress. So I think it's an epidemic that people really need help with, and it causes a lot of illnesses and different things like that. And then I ended up being asked by executive types if I could help them do what I do. And I really didn't know what they meant by that at first. And Trish and Phil both know me personally, so I think they can agree with this. I just have a presence about me. I walk into a room and people listen to what I have to say. And I take that very, very seriously. It's a power of influence, and it's a gift. And I use it for good, not evil. I think that is super important to share that kindness and teach people um, authenticity and different things along those lines. So again, I'm just really happy to be here to be able to share this with you. And as I started teaching executives, it was funny. They wanted me to teach them how to connect with people. They were really good at their jobs. They were really good at pitching, but they were missing this human side. They were able to really hone in on like what they wanted to say, but they weren't getting that connection. And we're people, we need to connect. It's all about connection, right? So, most of you are teachers, is that correct? Is that, yeah? So you have little people that you have to connect with. And it's important, we have to talk to people as people. And there's an art to it. There's an art to this communication thing. Most people are afraid to communicate. I think it's 86% now, has glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking. And when you say the fear of public speaking, that fear is two or more people. That's crazy, when you think about it. You could be at a social, you could be at a parent teacher conference, right? And if you had this glossophobia, all of a sudden you have to stand in front of these parents and tell them something, and you don't feel empowered anymore. It's a weak moment for you. So I like to help people, empower their voice. And Trish already knows this. Phil, I don't know if we've talked about this, but a large percentage of people do not use their natural voice when they are talking. They just don't.
Mm.
Human body is so cool. We try to preserve energy as easily as we possibly can. So even though we've been doing it since we were like 1.5, 2 years old, what happens is we started out in our diaphragm, and then to spare us that energy loss, we moved up to here or up to here. Has anybody ever noticed where they talk from? When you talk, where is it coming from? And a lot of people that have backgrounds in speaking to some capacity, and I'm sure most of you being in front of a classroom, you're going to say, I speak from here. A lot of people are up there, and it's, where are you at, Allison? You're shaking your head. I see that.
I believe diaphragm. I mean, if you have
Diaphragm.
your voice, it comes from your diaphragm.
It should. It should. Yeah, most people though, they want to conserve that energy, and it starts moving up and in here and everything like that. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if you're talking from your diaphragm, because I have a really quick, easy way to get people down to their diaphragm.
Mm.
When we laugh, that is when we are at our most authentic, natural voice. So I'm going to have everybody give me a ha. Okay. Yes.
Ha.
Ha.
Ah.
Ah.
I
Yes. All
cackle.
right.
I scare babies when they're sleeping. They literally get startled with my deep cackle that comes. Is this my diaphragm? I think it's coming from here.
Very good. All right. So I'm going to have you breathe real quick with me, because this is a really great way to test it, because breathing's super important. And there's so many different ways to breathe. I mean, there's breathing techniques out there for everything, right? This is very, very simple. This is just getting you in the zone to speak with that diaphragm. So I want you to put one hand on your chest, and one hand's going to go on your stomach with your pinky laying right in your belly button.
Oh,
Okay. Feels like I need to find it.
this is getting personal.
It is getting personal. So I want you to just breathe for me, in and out, no holding, just, and tell me which hand is moving.
I think my belly
The
button.
lower. Okay. Lower. All right. So I need you to get them both moving in tandem. Okay. So just keep trying until you feel them both kind of move at the same time. Takes a little bit of concentration. Rosalie's feeling it. Phil's feeling it. Yeah. Paul.
No.
Trisha. Yeah. Trish. Trish, you've done this before, so you know. All right. Okay. So now we're ready to give our ha. All right. You can drop them if you like. All right. Deep breath in. Ha.
Ah.
All right. How did that feel?
Relaxing.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get you to do it one more time. Ha.
Um,
All right. So I guarantee you, your natural voice lies right in there. Okay. This time, I'm going to get you to give me a ha, and you're going to do a C right after. So you're going to go ha, C. You don't have to be a singer. It doesn't matter, but it's the same concept of scale. So, all right, ready? Ha, C.
See.
All right, you all got scared on that one. Do it for me again.
Wait, we need a countdown. I don't want to be the first
All right.
time. Very
One.
embarrassing.
We're doing it on 3. So 1, 2, three.
Ha.
See.
We're still nervous about that C. All right. I want you to belt it out. Don't be afraid. Okay.
Am I
This
singing?
is, huh?
Am I trying to sing the C, or am I just trying to say it?
You're exhaling the C. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
All
Hammer.
right. If it comes out in song, I'm not mad at you. All right.
Okay.
So, ha,
See.
see. All right. Phil, I'm going to call on you. All
I
right. I'm
said
going to
I
make you
feel
do
like
it.
we're failing miserably. All right.
There is no fail. There is no fail. There's only forward.
All right. All right.
All right.
You want me to do it?
Yes,
All
please.
right. Yeah. Ha. See.
All right. Very nice. Very nice.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It was. Did you feel it? Did you feel it down lower?
I feel like that C is where I lecture from when I talk to my students, when I get their attention. I feel like it's like somewhere in between here. And then occasionally go to my nose because I got that awful Chicago nasal, like waffles. You know,
Waffles.
gotta eat my waffles.
It was very, very good. Anybody else want to be brave enough to try for me? All right, Allison.
See.
Beautiful. One more time for me.
See. But it's
Very
all
good.
down. It doesn't go up. It's all down.
All right, very good. Yeah, it was very good. All right, anybody else want to give it a try?
Sure, I'll go for it.
Rosalie, come
I'll go
on.
for it, and I'll blame internet connection if it goes bad.
Oh, you know what? You're gonna shut down and you're gonna blame a tornado or a hurricane.
Yeah.
I'm not
She'd be
having
like, the
it. I'm
tornadoes
gonna
just
call
came right
you out.
through.
I'll go. Ready?
Go for it, Rosie.
Okay. See.
Beautiful. Where'd you feel it? You felt it, didn't you? She's like, I don't know. It was
I have no
somewhere.
idea. It's like all in here.
It felt where
Okay.
uncomfortable feels.
Right. Is this where like embarrassment lies? Like in here?
We're gonna get to that part. We're gonna get to that part. This is all part of building up to it, right? All right,
Okay.
Trisha, you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
See.
Oh, your C. You're afraid of your C. Come on.
Was I? Oh gosh.
Yes.
I didn't
Finish
feel like I
C.
was.
Just carry it out. C.
See.
That was good.
There it is. Yes.
I don't
Beautiful.
feel like I feel like if I'm just with my students, like I'm totally fine. I'm okay talking with like a room full of parents too. It's when I have to have like the one-on-one parent chats just quickly in the car line after school. It's like all up here, you know. Hi, great, I've had a great day. Okay, bye. Close the door, you know. But
Right. Yes. And we have, what's really cool is we actually have a range. Okay. So it looks just like scales. I don't know if anybody has a music background. Anybody have a music background in here? Okay. So the scales are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That is the scales. All right. And that's actually your vocal range when you find your natural C. Because look at it this way. If you talked really low, like, and all of a sudden you're up here, right? That would start to hurt.
Mhm.
But when you go to like a gaming event and you're like, "Woo," and you're all like up here, that hurts too. So when you actually are speaking more from your diaphragm, you are in your natural element. It's not going to put that strain on your voice. Okay. So you have to know where you live. So living between that C and C is where you live. Because if I just talk to you like this, it would be so boring, wouldn't it? Like there's no inflection in my voice, and like people, it gives them permission to shut their ears, right? So you want to make sure that you have inflections in your voice, and you're up and you're down and you're all around, but you're living within your range. Okay. And a lot of times what happens is people think they have to increase their volume or they have to soften their volume to do that. And you don't. All right. As long as you are speaking boldly and authentically, you're going to get that attention. Right. So, a lot of laughs. Trish laughs. I have a habit of telling my clients, because one of the things is we have to know when to shut up as well. It's super important to know that. And a lot of people feel, no, we have a hard time. We do. But if you're not the authority on something, you really shouldn't be talking about it. People that just need to hear their voice, they're not listening to anybody else. But here's the thing, if they're just talking all the time, nobody's really listening to them either, right?
But I
You're
feel
like,
like
oh, there they go again.
they're nervous as well. It's not just because you need to talk, but people talk when they get nervous a lot, just to fill it up.
Yes, yes. Silence scares people. It really does. And there's nothing wrong with silence. Silence can be really cool. That's like a moment of energy. And you can really hear a lot in that moment of silence. So,
And
if
really quickly, doesn't silence show confidence? If you're
yes,
talking to somebody, if you're giving a talk and you're silent for just a little bit, you're just commanding that whole entire crowd.
yes, your pauses are super important.
Yeah.
So you're making me go to the slides. I'm going to the slides already. You ready?
All right. But
All right, we'll go back and forth from having the slides and not having the slides, because I want to see all your beautiful faces. All right, so we did the art of breathing. All right, so this is before we get to the pauses and stuff. Interactional synchronicity. Has anybody ever heard of this before?
no.
Okay, so this is where two people are having a conversation. And let's say Paul and I meet each other for the first time, and Paul's energy is like, say it is 7, right? And I come in and my energy is like above 10. I'm like, whoa! I'm like, hey, Paul, what's up? How you doing? Right? And Paul's just like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, right? So because we're subconsciously trying to connect, what it will naturally happen is Paul will start to increase and I will start to decrease, and we will meet somewhere around here and be able to have a conversation. It's just the way it goes. It's all subconscious. But have you ever walked away from a conversation and you're like, they were nice, but I just didn't feel it? That is because you did not have interactional synchronicity. So when that happens, there's nothing you can do about it. It just means somewhere someone was not willing to budge. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just, now that you know that this is what happens, you can consciously make a little bit more of an effort if you need to. You know? And that's probably good, like with your students, they're still trying to figure out their hormones and like all their moods and everything like that. So they might come in almost manic, and you're like, I've had a rough day, like, but I still have to, come in a little bit happier with them, right? And instead of bringing your voice up here and be like, oh my gosh, right? How you were saying in the car lane, you want to make sure that your energy just comes up, and you maintain your natural voice, your natural inflections, but that way, you're able to have that communication. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah. And then again, I was going to say, did we? No, we did not. I'll get there. Excuse me. All right, latency. This is a big one. This is the pause in between each person speaking in a conversation. This is super important. People do not give latency enough credit, because it is one of those things, like if you went and saw a comedian and he told a joke and gave the punchline right after, wouldn't that be horrible? Like that would probably be like the worst thing you could ever witness, right? This is what happens in conversations. There are times where people say something and then, oh, I want to respond, and they just jump right in. They don't give that pause to percolate, ruminate, like all of that good stuff that needs to happen. Let the words kind of fall to the floor a little bit. All of a sudden it becomes a race. Who can stack on top of each other the most words? And when you are doing that, it's a really high anxiety conversation. and you can feel it, they can feel it, you know, your students would be able to feel it. You know, you want to make sure that you are making time for latency. And even if you're having like a keynote or you're doing a speech or something like that, make sure you have time for latency. Because as I do this, I'm watching everybody's heads shake. You're giving me a conversation. This is a two-way conversation. So you want to make sure that you have time for latency in there. So super, super important.
Yeah, lets your information sink in too, right? What you just said, it's like giving me time to process it before you go to the next thing.
Exactly.
Mm.
I was just at a retreat 2 weeks ago, and this is my message that I give people. And there was a man that was in the audience, and he raised his hand, and I thought he had a question, and he actually told me, he said that is what killed his marriage. That is what ended his marriage, because he had no latency. And he was like, I feel that I could walk out of here today and be a better man. And I mean, I was just so touched by that. And it's incredible the reward I get from helping people with this. You know, it's really amazing. And you never know the levels of this art of communication, how deep it can go. So, you know, latency is super important. Super important. All right. So we did the scales, we did our ha, we did our C. And then this is where we live in the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right. So I'm going to have you guys practice this. I'm not going to make you do it right now, unless Phil's feeling brave enough. I might call out Phil.
Well,
All right.
I'm not afraid of a good time.
Okay, good, good. All right. So I'll show you how to do it real quick. All right. So you want to do your ha, C, and then you're going to go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, which I
Yeah.
went too high. I went way too high, and I could feel it as I did it. But you want to come in, you know, and make sure. And I love that you're recording this, because that just is going to go out to the world right now. And I'm going to be
Maybe we
like,
won't share this with everybody with all of our ha's and breathing. Maybe this one stay in between us all.
all right. Yeah. So, but yeah, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You want to make sure like you're in your range.
Okay.
And yeah, do it.
All right. Ha, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You were in the choir, weren't you?
Paul, don't you say a word to anyone in the neighborhood.
Killing it.
That was beautiful. It really was. I'm like breaking out in a sweat over here after that. So I want to make sure that you know where you live. So don't be afraid to practice it. I mean, your voice might crack a couple times when you do it. It's absolutely fine. Nobody's grading you on this. I just want you to know where you live, you know? And if you do find yourself cracking too much, you want to come down just a little bit, because that means you came up too high, which I did twice. So, you know, it can't do worse than me. I'm telling you right there. I'm the professional, and I just went out of it. So it takes practice, it takes time, but you'll get there. All right. So I'm going to share this one, and then I'm going to take it off the share. But this one is super interesting when it comes to the role of communication. Do you feel like the main character in your story? What is your role, right? Are you like a founder, a general, or are you a worker bee? All right. Now I'm going to stop share, but we're going to continue the conversation on this, because I'm very interested to know, do you feel like the main character in your story? Raise your hand.
What do you mean by story?
In your life, do you feel like the main character?
Oh,
All right. You know what? Believe it or not, a majority of people do not.
Oh.
They do not.
we're narcissists, most of us, or I'm just.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, is it just us? We're like, yeah, it's all about us.
Paul, you weren't feeling it? You don't feel like the main character?
You think it's all about us?
I'm getting there. I'm finding my story.
Okay.
But I
Yes.
feel like while the act of teaching, we are the main characters, but I feel like in real life, anybody's role varies from all of those, depending on your circumstance, your environment, your whoever's in the group. You're not all, unless you are in fact the narcissist, you're not always the one doing the talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, it has nothing to do with narcissism.
Yeah.
And if you ask yourself if you're a narcissist, you are not. So that's good.
Mhm.
I learned that in therapy. But no, it's funny. You are the main character in your story, and it's super important to know that. Even if you are the sub character, even if you are at somebody else's wedding, and they are that's the bride and everything like that. The fact is that Allison, you have a storyline, you have a background, what brings you to that wedding. You are the main character in that story. So, it's super important to remember because there's so many different elements to a story, right?
Mhm.
But I would
You
say
know,
you're a secondary character at a wedding specifically. I am important to that storyline, but your main character are the two that are getting married. I could be a bridesmaid, I could be a guest, but I'm a secondary character. I'm not the main character in that one.
well, the day's not about you. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get it mixed up, because the day's not about you, but you are still your own main character.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. I'm just saying
Right.
that your
Mhm.
environment is going to dictate where that shows up and how it shows up.
Right. Yeah,
I think
Trish.
that's true, but Allison, think about, like, because I'm a writer and I coach other writers. So one of the things I tell them, if it's a story about a certain character and something they're going through, and they go to the wedding, it's their experience of the wedding. They're still the main character, even though there's another character, another person that is the main character of that event. You're still the main character of your story. You're still experiencing it however you're experiencing. That's what, it's not that you're the most important person in the room.
Right.
It's that you're still experiencing whatever you're experiencing from your point of view.
Yeah.
Yes. And your point of view matters. That's the important
That's
thing.
the point she's trying to get
Right.
across, right? Am I?
Yes. You're right. You're spot on. It's it's one of the things that people tend to deal with a lot is they feel that their point of view isn't important or the way they see it isn't important. And it's not that your way is the only way. We live in a world right now where everybody thinks that they're right on, political things or the way schools should be run or, something like that. But the fact is that we have lost that as a society, that my opinion matters, my story matters. What happened to me does matter. It doesn't have to change anybody's mind, but my story can open your mind.
Mhm.
And that is where, that authority, that power comes in communication, and that goes into one of the next things we're going to look at on the slide. Okay. Don't speak square. Okay. Speaking square. That is sharp edges. When you talk to somebody and you are talking to them with sharp edges, you can cut them. Your words can cut, right? So if I'm telling you that, school lunches need to be an hour long, and you're like, well, they're 45 minutes long. This is what helps the kids and da, da, da. No, it has to be an hour long. That's just a fight. That's all that is. I'm not giving you my story. I'm not telling you why I believe that they should be an hour, right? All I'm saying is that I'm coming at you and I'm ready to battle, and that's not okay. All I'm doing is giving you permission to close your ears and start talking louder than me. It doesn't do anybody any justice. So if we round our words, it helps open the lines of communication. You know, it makes it where somebody can now be enlightened and say, you know what? Yeah, all right. That's a good point. Maybe lunches should be an hour long. Maybe we should do something about this. You know, it really opens up these lines of communication. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. And again, it comes into where people think they have to speak louder or they have to speak softer. You know, it doesn't, that's not what it's about. It's not about how you project it. It's kind of like how you own it. If you own it boldly, but with soft edges, you're going to make some noise in all the right ways, you know? And I have Titus joke there. You know, the comedian Titus, which you remind me of every once in a while, Phil, just by the way. Do you know
Oh,
who Chris
really?
Titus is?
I don't. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
look.
you'll have to look him up. You'll have to look him up. But he was talking about talking to his kids, and his kids, they don't listen to him. You know, clean your room, clean your room. And, you know, they're just jumping all over the place. And, you know, mom is always the authority. And he was like, until I discovered making a Batman mixed with Christopher Walken and Tom Cruise, clean your room, you know, and all of a sudden the kids are like, I'll clean my room, you know. And but that's what it is. We kind of have to become the voice that we want to hear in that moment as well. It's a persona that we have to take on. You know, if we want to be caring, we have to speak caring. We have to show people why we care about it. You know, if we want to get a raise, we have to come in boldly and tell them why we deserve a raise. We don't have to come in, you know, ready for a fight or anything like that. We don't even have to come in meek. We want to make sure that we have that confidence when we walk into a room and we're asking for something, because if you come in, it's like they can smell fear. Yes, they can. They're feeling that energy, that nervous energy. So one of the things that I like to tell people when you're about to do a pitch, when you're about to do and I've worked with some major clients, you know, that are dealing with multi-million dollar deals. And I tell them, I'm like, you have to name it. You have to name it before you do it, right? Because here's the cool part. I'm such a nerd when it comes to the brain. I love things like that, but the same chemical is released, whether it is fear or excitement. Same exact chemical. You have like 0.0002 seconds to name it, and your body will respond. So if you feel that adrenaline hit, because you'll feel it, we all do, and you feel that nervous energy start to come in, I'm excited. I'm excited. I got this. Superman pose. You know, do what you have to do, and all of a sudden your body is going to respond that way. And you're gonna get what you want. It's really cool how that works. When Trish did her TEDx, remember, that's exactly what I told you before you get up on that stage. I'm excited. I'm excited. And what happened? What was that feeling that you had when you got up there?
Well, you kept telling us to be excited instead of nervous, because nervous and excitement have the same effect in the brain. And because I'm a brain nerd too, that was perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so when I would feel nervous, I'd say, no, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. And when I got on stage, I was excited. And you taught me about using pauses and what that looked like. And I've had a lot of people comment on my TED Talk and say, you know, oh my gosh, I just felt like, and they didn't know why, but it was just certain things that you asked me to do that I wouldn't, I mean, I had already done a bunch of public speaking, but I didn't know some of the things that you're talking about right now that I've been doing. I have an international 45-minute talk that I'm giving day after tomorrow for neuro heart education. And I'm using a lot of these things that you taught me to do when I did the TED Talk. So
Very good.
thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that it's resonated. And then Phil, what time are we done?
Yeah, we are running up on the timer. So usually 10 after is around the time we start wrapping things up.
Okay. All right. Well, can I just do this last one?
That's some of my, whatever that says on that screen
Yeah.
is something I love to do. So
Exactly. Please do that one. I'm not leaving until you tell me.
Okay. All right. So, as Rosalie had said, when she felt like she was the only one doing her C at that time, she was feeling a little stupid. Well, fact is, that is the number one thing that scares the crap out of people is looking stupid.
Mm.
So, my number one thing that I teach clients how to do is to get stupid. If you are getting stupid, then you are not afraid of looking stupid.
Mhm.
Okay. So when we do our C's and our ha's and all that, we feel stupid. Well, guess what? We survived. We lived. Now we can go out and we can conquer. So it's super important to make sure you get stupid, right? So like I had this thing, and this was one of the workshops. Okay, you are stronger than you think and you can do more. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Or is it cut off? Okay. Than you ever dreamed. Okay. Rosalie, real quick, I want you to read that.
The whole thing.
Say to me, no, just to than you ever dreamed. Right to that part.
You are stronger than you think, and you can do more than you've ever dreamed.
Okay, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Now I'm gonna call you out though, and I'm gonna make you get stupid real quick.
Okay.
Are you game?
I'm game.
All right. All right. I need you to do some dancing.
Oh, all
Shake it
right.
out.
All right.
Give us some ha's.
Oh,
Right?
ha! You are stronger than you think, and you could do more than you've ever dreamed.
All right. Now do it one more time. Regular, but combining those two. And I want to hear it.
Okay. You are stronger than you think, and you could do more than you've ever dreamed.
How did that sound to everybody?
Yeah,
It was
Great.
gorgeous.
I listened.
Gorgeous. And that's what I'm talking about. Anybody else want to give it a try? Bill?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So go ahead, read it for me and then get stupid. Well, let's get stupid first. Just
Yeah.
get stupid for me.
Right.
Since we're running.
I'm ready.
Ah,
See.
yes, yes.
Right. You are stronger than you think, and you can do more than you've ever dreamed.
All right. No, that was weak, my friend.
Oh,
I love you, but that was weak.
Okay.
All right. Get stupid for me. You are definitely a person that knows how to get stupid. Come on.
I don't know how to get any stupider. Woo! All right, I'm raising the roof. I'm getting weird. All
Yes, you are. All right.
right.
You feeling it? You feeling the excitement?
I'm not sure I am, but I'm going for it. All right.
Okay. All right.
You are
Do it
stronger
again.
than you think and can do more than you've ever dreamed.
It was
There you go.
beautiful.
That was more,
was-
Phil.
That was more Phil. That was more
I
Phil.
think I just scared people.
You did not scare people. And it's not about always sounding like, ooh, like you don't have to come at people like that. But it is, it's a big difference when you know how to get stupid. You're not afraid of the words anymore.
Hmm.
Okay. You are stronger than you think, and you can do more than you've ever dreamed. It just, bam, it packs this punch, right?
Hmm.
And did you feel that, Rosalie, when you did it? Did you feel that final time? It
Oh, yeah.
packed a punch.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's really what you want to be doing. So get stupid. And you can do it behind closed doors, but get stupid before you're about to do something like this. And you're just going to be full of
Mhm.
empowerment and authority on what you're talking about. It's going to make all the difference. It really is. All right. And I think that was my last slide. Yep. And this just tells you who I am. And Phil, I'll make sure you get this if you want, and you can pass it
thank
on.
you. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
When I recap, I'll make sure I link to your tiacristy.com so people can get in touch with you. And Tia, I'll also send everybody's email over just so you can keep in touch with them as
Yeah.
well. Thank you for that. Dissecting this is always great, just good reminders, but also all of us, I know a lot of us are in the education space. Paul, I know that you manage and look over a lot of people that also don't always love their job. So communication is super important, especially I think that matching energies when you're coming in. So I think that all of us took home some really great takeaways and reminders. So Tia, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and
Yeah,
follow.
it
You
was
make sure they
fun.
get
I
my
mean, I
social
hadn't even
media.
heard a lot of this information before, and I enjoy it every time.